Well, hello everyone. This is Kentrell with Bangor Inc. And welcome to part three of building estimates in Sage 100 Contractor with parts and assemblies. In our last video, we sat down, took the time to build an assembly. We started building our assembly classes, and then we turned around and built an assembly and saw how we were able to take that assembly and bring it over into estimating. Today, we're going to go through and talk about how we take the assembly and dispatch, or rather export all of the information that is estimating after we've tied down our estimate. We're going to export all that information out into the accounting version of the software. That way we can get a WIP report, we can run a cost to complete, we can run a committed cost report. And that way, when invoices come into the door, we can attach them to a purchase order. We can see our original estimate. We can export this information over to a progress bill. So a lot of pertinent information comes directly out of estimating, which has a direct and an immediate impact in our accounting solution. So as continuing on with our same thought process from our last class, we're going to enter in our job number. So we open up our 9.5 takeoff. And now we want to go in and put in our actual assembly. So our assembly that we built for our class purposes is found. We'll go in and say lookup window. We're going to scroll all the way down. We got our class assembly from our last class, and we're going to use our assembly. So now that we have our assembly in here, we're going to go in here and put our quantity in. In this case, we're going to do 10 is our quantity. Now, if I don't want to see all of this information, because this is a pretty lengthy data entry screen, I can come over to my view and I can customize my view based on if I just want to see assemblies, if I want to see just the parts, I can see this piece. In the case for our class, I want to look it in all view. So now as I look through, I got some columns here up at the top. If I wanted to put a formula in, I can. But in this case, I want to actually go in and put in my profit and my overhead. Now I could sit here and 10 key my profit overhead rate by each one, or based on my cost types, I can come up to update takeoff, and I can go in and do profit and overhead and say I want anything that's material, I want it to be 5% on my overhead. Same thing for equipment subcontract. If I'm tracking something else, say profit margin, I want it to be 7%. And then I just update. The system will update the entire takeoff. And so we go yes. And now we can see that we have our overhead, our profit, and we can see exactly what our extended price is going to be. So down here at the bottom, we see our total cost, and we see our extended price, and we see our gross margin. We see our overhead pricing, as well as our profit. But now, after I get done with this, I notice that all my information is pulling from the assembly, which is made up of all of our parts, or a combination of different parts. So assembly 4,000. So now I want to go in here and add some vendors. So in this assembly or this takeoff, if we're working with different vendors, you can come in and change this. Nothing has went to accounting, meaning that my purchase orders haven't gone over, my subcontracts haven't gone over, neither has my budget or my proposal, because this is still the beginning phases of estimating. I might be trying to track down different material suppliers or a different vendor for particular pricing. So therefore, I can always change my vendors, and I can export this whenever I'm ready. In this case, we have a plumbing job. We're going to use vendor Castro and Sons. If you're not sure in this solution, you can right click and you can go in display lookup window. In my case, I have some vendors already situated out here, and I want to use my plumbing. There's my Castro Plumbing Sons. And so now I could just go in here and do 85, 85, all the way down, because this is the vendor I want to work with. Now, in this particular case, I might want to choose, since I have a different cost code, and plus I'm not doing something necessarily with plumbing, this is caulking, I might order from a different supplier. Let's call this 84 for RDS materials. And then since this is going to be self-performed work, because I have my plumbing labor, then I don't necessarily want to add any vendor here. And guys, this grid is customizable. So if I wanted to go in here and say, hey, right click, hide and show columns. Even though I'm like that view, I might not want to see the formula if I'm not creating formulas. I might not care about export notes, import notes, user-defined field, might not necessarily look at an inventory location. So I can shorten out, my columns and save the grid view and save this grid view, and it will be my personal grid view. Or I can come up here and create, edit current grid view. So once I've gotten my piece of my estimate, I'm looking at my cost, I'm looking at my extended price, which is getting charged out to my client. This is what it's going to cost us to do this class for this assembly of a toilet and water closet. So I'm going to go here and save. And now what I want to do is I'm going to go up here to export, because I got quite a few things. If I've tied down this particular estimate and we know it's good, we've got the contract signed, now I'm ready to get this information over to the accounting solution and get it out of export it from the accounting solution and not just have it stay in the estimating solution. So in the first case, I want to actually export my purchase orders. So I can go out here, purchase orders by job. And it says you're about to export purchase orders, but your takeoff calculations may not correctly reflect the additional cost. So they recommend that we update it. I've already updated our cost, and we're going to go yes. And it says you're reminded to create purchase orders from the takeoff. Only parts that have a vendor will be included because it's based on the cost type of being material. I'm going to say yes. And it asks the question, do you want to include subcontracts? If I had any subcontracts or a subcontractor part in my assembly, I can assign a subcontract with a cost type of 4, which is subcontract in Sage 100 Contractor, and I can export my subcontracts as well. But in this case, since I don't have any subcontracts, I'm going to say no. And now I have my purchase order with this Castro and Sons. It gives me the total. And I also have my purchase order with RDS material. So in this case, I'm going to export both of these out of the system. And it's going to say yes. And now my export is complete. At the same time, if I wanted to go out and export the budget, which would be my estimate, I'm going to say yes. My budget has been exported. And now I want to say we want to export the proposal as well. So our contract amount, that's going to go actually out to our supplier. Or rather, I'm sorry, our contract amount to go into our accounting solution to help us with our WIP. So everything that I've gone through, I've exported directly out of the takeoff. Now let's go back over to the accounting version of the solution and see exactly what happened when I exported. So I wanted to go look at my purchase orders. Select this far arrow to the right because it's the last one that I've exported. And notice you see some information in here. First thing that we see is the source. It came from my takeoff. Next piece that it does, it puts it in a status of review, because the last thing we want to do is put it in open and all of a sudden somebody thinks that they get an AP invoice, or they accidentally, put in the wrong order number on the AP side. And then the system is designed to set up to say, hey, this purchase order is in a status of review. It is not open. So anytime we export anything out of estimating from a takeoff, whether it be a purchase order or a subcontract, it's going to put it in a status of review. Also, it gave me my detail of all my parts. It shows the quantity that I need. It shows the price that I need. And it gives me my total pricing down here at the bottom. Also, it shows attach it to my job, gives a description of the purchase order, as well as Castro and Sons. So not only did I get Castro and Sons, say yes, but if I back up one, also here is my RDS material. So vendor 84, and here is my caulk silicone that I also created a purchase order for, and also came from the takeoff. So not only did I, just take and put in my vendors, but I've also gone through and created my purchase orders, and I can take these purchase orders, print, and I can email them directly to the supplier. I don't have to, I can print them if I wanted to, scan them or put them in the mail, but the system is married with Microsoft. So instead of me having to print things off and put it in the mail, put a stamp on and all that, I can email this purchase order directly to the supplier. As well as, not only did I export my purchase orders, but if I wanted to go look at my project to see exactly, my budgets, my proposals, I can open up my job. I'm gonna go to job 225. And now I have some information down here at the bottom, such as my budget. So now my budget is in the system, giving me my total. So nobody has to, try to figure out, hey, call estimating or try to figure out from project manager, what's the original estimate? All that information was done in the takeoff and exported over to the accounting version. Not only did I was able to see my estimate, which is going to be 160641, but at the same time, I can come down here and look at my proposal. So here's my proposal or my contract amount, which is going to be 1804.81. And I want to take this and I want to set this up on my contract amount. And I select save. Now, guys, why is this very important? Because essentially, as we're collecting costs and as we're going through and billing, we want to make sure that we have an accurate WIP report. So if I look at my over and under billings report, and I want to go here and I want to look at that particular job, and I want to print preview. Now I don't have any cost associated with it, but now we can see equal to. So now we can see down here at the bottom, we've got our contract amount, we've got our estimate, and then we've got our estimate gross profit. So as we start billing and assigning costs, this is the foundation of our WIP report. So that's how we go through and set up that's how we build estimates with parts and assemblies. And our next class, we're going to talk about how we can do a takeoff without using assemblies if we don't choose to do assemblies. If we want to just use a full takeoff without necessarily parts, we will talk about that in our next class. Thank you all so much for joining us, watching this video with us, and discovering how we can build estimates with parts and assemblies to speed up our estimating, to get this information completed, verified, and sent over to the accounting part of the solution, creating our purchase orders, our subcontracts, as well as our budgets and our proposal. Thank you, and you have a wonderful day.